I owe you an apology because I said that we would launch in May 2026.
And get the products out by May 2026. Except now I don't even want to say this.
And it is May 2026 and we have not launched. Welcome back to Founders Journal Unfiltered. And today I'm going to explain why I haven't put out a video in 5 months. The truth is, this is supposed to be unfiltered. This is supposed to be Founders Journal Unfiltered. And I haven't had the option of being unfiltered because I've signed about 5 NDAs and lots has happened. Let's get into it. I have many things to be grateful for. The biggest one is I have a new business partner. And that is kind of crazy. I've actually recorded a few videos trying to explain the situation, but I didn't know how to explain it without talking about things I'm not allowed to talk about. But the short version is that my original business partner, the factory I was partnered with, had to pull out. We came to a really nice compromise. They honoured the terms of the agreement that we had as if they were my business partner. And I really appreciate that. They are wonderful and I will continue to work with them. I then thought maybe I'll be a solo founder and I will fund things a different way. So around this time, I was offered some corporate jobs and I almost took the corporate jobs, but I did not. Things did not go down that direction. Instead, I found a new business partner who is really cool and I'm excited to introduce you to them. So watch this space. The other thing I'm super grateful for is we are in the middle of closing an SCIS seed investment round. So that is great. For those who don't know, that's a government scheme that gives really wonderful tax incentives to people who invest in businesses. So we are closing an angel round this month. The money has started to hit the account. And that means that I can say with a high degree of confidence that we will launch in October 2026, God willing. So I'm very grateful for that. Let's get into challenges. There have been many. I think one of the biggest challenges could be summarized in the phrase, great is the enemy of good. And the reason I say that is when you are starting something, you need to lock in, you need to be focused, you need to devote your resources, so your time, your energy, your money, your attention, focus, all of those things have to go into this idea you're trying to bring to life. Otherwise, it will not come to life. So knowing that, knowing it needs to be my main focus, but also having bills to pay was something that you probably know was stressing me out a bit because I can do consulting work that's paid very well. I can do keynotes that are paid very well, but also I'm trading time for money and therefore I'm limited in what I can do on Ayaa Botanicals. So after going back and forth for a while, me and my husband talked about it. And then a couple of job offers came up in the more corporate spaces, a couple in the startup world, mostly in corporate spaces. And I spent a lot of time interviewing. Anyone who's been through that process, you know, interviewing can be like a full-time job. And I go above and beyond. So I was like preparing strategies. It was like free consulting almost. I liked those companies. The jobs looked good. The jobs looked really interesting. And sometimes the good is the enemy of the great, as I found. So both of those things are true. Perfection is the enemy of progress, because if you're looking for the ideal, you just get into, you know, analysis paralysis and you don't get anything done. That's not good. Equally, something that is good can be a distraction from something that is great. And I know that they seem to be saying opposite things, because one is saying go with good enough and one is saying wait for the great fit, but they're not. It is that you need to have a tendency towards action. And then once you have that tendency towards action, you need to learn to say no to things you really want to say yes to, things that are great opportunities, things that look really exciting, things that you could see yourself doing as a founder. So I could definitely have seen myself taking any of those like 4 different jobs that I was in the running for. And I hadn't applied for these. They had come to me. And I could imagine a life where I did these jobs and I ran Ayaa a bit more slowly in the background. But that wasn't my plan. That wasn't what I wrote on my vision board. It wasn't what I've been talking about on this channel. And it was really hard to just kind of accept that if I want to do this, if I want to do this properly, I have to go all in. And that might mean a little bit of discomfort. It might mean reducing the amount of time I spend on other work. And it definitely means not signing a contract that gives away all of my free time because then I can't work on Ayaa. So here I am. The big lesson has been really that perfection is the enemy of progress, but the good is also the enemy of the great. And holding those two things in tension with all the nuance required involves a lot of confronting our cognitive dissonance and confronting our limiting beliefs. This brings me on to my lesson. My biggest lesson over the past 5 months has been that we all need help at every stage. And I kind of knew that, but I feel like sometimes you have to relearn things. You can know it at a cognitive head level. Sometimes you need to get into it at like a heart level, an emotional level. So what I mean by this is I have recently been getting some help and support from Help Bank, which is Simon Squibb's really cool not-for-profit to help people achieve their dreams. You know, the What's Your Dream guy? He has a whole organization called Help Bank to help people start and grow businesses. And I've been involved in a lot of accelerators. I've been involved in various programs. I've run some. I've been an entrepreneur in residence. I've delivered workshops and training at these kinds of programs. So when this kept coming up, when I kept getting emails and things in my feed and ads and people talking about it, I just thought, sounds great, but it's not really for me. I've delivered these kinds of things. I don't need it. But eventually what kind of pushed me over the edge was I had a really difficult thing that happened that I cannot talk about. There was something difficult and I thought I just need to make a decision and I just need some support. So I did sign up and I was very honest in the onboarding call. I said, I've signed up for this, but I kind of feel like a bit of an imposter and I don't want to take space from someone else. So if this is not appropriate, kick me out. But actually it was exactly what I needed. I needed to make some real progress. And in that hour-long call, I finally opened a bank account, which had seemed like this big, scary thing. I set up my accounting software and committed to the plan that I had made. And I accepted that I was in this analysis paralysis. I got paired with a mentor. So my mentor is Tobias Allen, who is absolutely fantastic when it comes to marketing in general, but particularly email marketing and particularly launch marketing. And we talked about the fact that I've got this big launch that I want to do and I need some help. And one of the things that came up from speaking to the people at Help Bank is that usually when there's barriers between you and your dream startup, your dream business, it's one of three things. It's either a lack of knowledge, a lack of resources, or limiting beliefs. And I had really thought that the issue for me in this kind of 5 months wilderness has been that, well, my business partner has had to pull out because of unforeseen circumstances. So that means I now don't have the resources I need. I have the knowledge, I know what I'm doing, but I don't have the resources and I need to find them. And that was partially true, but I hadn't realized how much the bigger issue was limiting beliefs. The bigger issue was the fact that I had done some work, I'd processed and analyzed and done retrospectives on my messy startup exit, but I hadn't really finished the work on the identity stuff. I was still ruminating. I was still going over, what if I did this? What if I did that? Could things have been different? And I hadn't let it go. So realizing that not letting it go had led to a whole bunch of limiting beliefs was so helpful. And it's not help that I was aware that I needed. So sometimes we need help and we don't know where that help is going to be. And that's why I really love Help Bank. So that has been new for me. That has been a lesson. It's been great. It's been fun. I am happy. My kids are happy and healthy. Things are going really well. I've been working crazy hours getting this Shopify store set up. I did an accelerator with Help Bank around that as well. I've been busy with work and I figured out a cadence and a balance that works in terms of how much I'm doing paid work and how much I'm doing work that will pay out in future on Ayaa Botanicals. Having a business partner has really helped with that. And I'm about to build a team. So I'm super excited to give you updates. I know I promised a factory tour.
And do you guys want me to do a factory tour? Should I go up there and film everything and show you?
Factory tour. And I promised, what else did I promise? Lots of things. They are coming. They are on my list. They keep popping up in my to-do list. And in this time as well, I built an app. So I'm going to put the link in the bio. That app has really helped me. It's called the 54321. And it's an app that I built that I used every day. I would literally pray and then do the 54321 on paper. So then I built an app to just help me to streamline it so it's easier to do. And this is how I've been hyper-prioritizing, radically prioritizing to optimize my time, which I talked about in the last video 5 months ago.
Be making sure that I radically prioritize.
And essentially it is a 5-minute timer, 4 deep breaths, 3 big things I have to achieve for the day, 2 things my future self will thank me for, and 1 act of self-care. And I do that every day. That's my cadence. That's how I plan my schedule. So even though no 2 days look the same, I always know there'll be 3 big things I have to achieve. There will be 2 things that my future self will thank me for, and there'll be 1 act of self-care, which is not a reward because we need self-care. We need to care for ourselves. Like when I look after my kids and care for them, I don't see it as you've been really good at school or you did your chores well. therefore I'm going to look after you and give you a treat. It's just necessary. We need self-care in order to survive, especially as founders, because it's hard out here. So yes, that has been my unfiltered founders journal. And I look forward to being more regular with these videos. Thanks for bearing with me, and I'll see you next time. And comment if you relate to any of what I've just said. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's experienced these kinds of things and these limiting beliefs. And I will put some resources that I hope will help you in your journey into the description box below. Thanks for watching. Please do like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs this video. See you next time. Bye. It won't be 5 months this time.